Come on.
Welcome back. We normally do these things starting at about 8 o'clock Pacific time, but I got to share a little story as we wait on a few other people to join us. It's about 8:44 now, so we're about 45 minutes late. And the reason is we don't just call ourselves Voice of the Fan. We actually trademarked it, which ain't no big deal, but it's kind of cool. And the reason we do that is because we want to be a platform for fans, and we're fans. And there's no greater testament to that than 45 minutes ago. Gianni and I are in the green room. We're chatting it up, getting ready. And all I could see him doing is this, right? He's talking to me, but he's looking to the right. And I'm like, oh man, the game's on. And the Bucks versus the Mavericks were on. And I figured we had two choices, right? We either live stream the game, or we just take a 45-minute break. We opted for the latter. And Johnny, we made the right choice.
Absolutely. Luka Mania, baby. It's a real thing.
Let's talk about that for a little bit. We got an agenda. We got things we want to talk about. Generally, we've been focusing on the Lakers and the Clippers. We want to talk about all of the NBA now. We want to take a look back at the week. We're calling this Run It Back, the NBA Week in Review. So we got a few things we want to talk about, but we can't ignore that game. And let me just point out two things that really impressed me. First off, if I'm the Bucks and you tell me I got George Hill taking a wide open three at the buzzer to win the game, I'm feeling good about my chances. But he missed. Number two, that pass by Luka between his legs with his left hand. I think it was to Kleber who made the shot and was fouled. What was most impressive about that pass was he didn't have to do it. It wasn't flashy. The only way to get that ball to him in that, with that defense he had against him was to go between his legs with the left hand. It was necessity. It wasn't flash. That's what's so impressive about this kid. He's 21 years old, man. Those are my takeaways. You saw the same game. What'd you take from it?
Oh yeah, that's my thing too. 21. They always talk when he was getting drafted. They were talking about, oh, he's been playing pro since he was 13, all this stuff. But when you see him play, that's exactly what it looks like. He's just in control the entire time. When he has the ball, he knows where he's going, doesn't rush it. He just looks like a 10-year vet out there. Just everything. I mean, he'll take some bad shots, but everybody does. His step back but the way he controls the game, his passing, he's something special, man. He's got that LeBron like vision and IQ. That's the only person I could compare him to.
Right. Well, when I saw the numbers today, and I had them up, but my computer's not working for me right now, but I know it was a ridiculous triple-double. I know he had 19 assists. He had 30 some odd points. This is a guy who's going to get 20 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists. Last guy to do that was Russell Westbrook. So, I'm thinking, but he's not Russell Westbrook. He's cut more in the mold of a LeBron, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But just what a great player. I mean, we're on the verge of watching a breakout star in that guy.
And this is him playing next to Giannis, who's doing his thing out there too, just spin move, dunking on people. Yeah, it's crazy. The future of the league is bright.
Right. Well said. Man, it would have been a lot nicer if I had this up quicker, but I don't. 36 points, 14 rebounds, 19 assists. And the guy's a maniac.
Light work.
Pivot. What? Go ahead.
I know. I just said easy work for Luka. Easy work.
Yeah. No, the guy's amazing. Let's talk about the things we wanted to talk about. We have a few things on our plate. First question I posed to you before we got started was the bigger surprise, right? The bubble games have been going on for a while now. They've been surprisingly good, and we'll talk about that a little bit. We had a great day of basketball today, some phenomenal games, which I want to kind of, matter of fact, let's do that real quick. Forgive me for bouncing around. But, we had the Suns beat the Heat to stay undefeated, the only team undefeated. The Pacers beat the Lakers in a bounce-back game for LeBron. We'll talk a little bit about that. Nuggets and Jazz went to double overtime. The game we just talked about, it went to overtime, and then the Clippers and the Blazers. Good basketball today. But let's talk about the bubble as a whole. The Suns 5-0 after today, after they beat Miami, the only undefeated team. They are now a half game behind the Blazers for the 9th spot, which ordinarily would mean nothing. But now it means you got that chance to play in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody wants to play the Suns right now. I mean, they're super confident. So the Suns are 5-0. A week or so ago, you and I talked about bubble predictions, and one of the predictions was one of these teams is going to go 0-8, and one of the likely teams that we discussed were the Suns, and here they are 5-0. It's staggering. So what's the bigger surprise? And I'm going to pose this question to you: the Suns at 5-0, or the Grizzlies, who had a pretty, and not a stranglehold on the 8th spot, but a really good, nice lead. They just had to win 2-3 games, I think, in order to secure that spot. They're 1-3 and not looking particularly strong. What's the bigger surprise?
I'm going to go off board. I'm going to go with MJ, a.k.a. TJ Warren, out there.
Okay.
Balling. I mean, he's been playing really good this season, but, I mean, he's been going crazy in the bubble. Bubble MVP, hit that shot on Bron today.
Yeah.
TJ Warren balling. But out of those two, I think it's the Suns. I mean, you lose Jaren Jackson if you're the Grizzlies. It was a good win. But I mean, Booker's balling. The Suns look good. But yeah, if the Grizzlies losing Jaren Jackson, it's not a good look for them.
Yeah, no, that's rough, of course. But yeah, it's hard to look at the Suns and not be impressed by what they're doing, and honestly, not be surprised. But yeah, Booker's at another level. Ayton is playing solid basketball. 18 points, 10 rebounds in the bubble. The dude's only 22 years old. He looks 62, but he's 22, and he's playing really, really good. So yeah, and let me address Warren, man, because I had heard he went for 50 plus first game in the bubble, and everybody was kind of thinking it was an aberration, but the guy has kept it up, and he looks confident. And man, when you got a little confidence behind you as a team or as a CJ Warren just looks really, really dangerous right now. All right, let's take a look at another weird bubble aberration. And I'm going to ask you if it was that. The Nets, who are the 7th seed right now in the East, played the Bucks. They were a 19-point underdog. Nobody gave them a chance in this particular game. But they beat the Bucks. Pretty amazing victory. The greatest spread upset since 1993 in the NBA. So it's a big deal. And so, I'm thinking, was this just the bubble being the bubble? The Bucks have got a big lead. They're not worried. They don't have to win these games. You and I talked a lot about the Clippers and the Lakers kind of being in that position where they don't have to win. So, do the Bucks just kind of fall into that complacency? What did you take out of that? Is this the norm? Is it kind of like the NFL used to say, on any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody else? Or was that just an aberration?
I think it was just kind of a one-game aberration. I mean, you see, this is almost like scrimmage games for the Bucks. You see them; they rested Giannis and Middleton for a half of the game. They're just trying to find their mojo. And I mean, the Nets play hard. They move the ball, and I mean, you can lose to anybody on any day. But that's not the worrying part for the Bucks. The worrying part for me about the Bucks is they're the number one defense this season, and they've been giving up a lot of points in the bubble to everybody. So I'm curious what's going on with their defense, because I mean, Brooklyn plays hard, but they shouldn't be dropping that many points on you.
Yeah, no, good point. What surprised me most about that game is how decimated the Nets are. But yeah, it really is telling right now that the Bucks are struggling a bit at the number one seed. I mean, certainly nothing to be worried about, but struggling just a bit. And then you look at the Lakers, number one seed in the West, struggling a lot. Which takes us to the next thing I wanted to talk about. The Lakers had a kind of a breakout game today. They played the Indiana Pacers. They played CJ Warren, who looked good. We talked about that a little bit. But coming into this game, LeBron was struggling. He was averaging under 20 points. He was not shooting the ball particularly well. And most troubling, I think, for the Lakers, they were the only team in the bubble to not score 100 points. Now, the defense has still been okay, but they haven't looked cohesive at all. Had a bit of a breakout game, but they lost against the Pacers. So, I got to ask you, on behalf of all the Lakers faithful, this is the number one team in the West. They sewed it up day one. They beat the Clippers. It just looks like they're getting complacent. Is there a need to worry if you're a Los Angeles Lakers fan?
I mean, it depends what your expectations are. If you think they're going to win a championship, I think you should be worried. When Bron goes to the bench, they do not look good. They miss playmaking and they miss shooting. They have a lot of streaky shooters. So when they're off there, they look real bad. And when Bron's not on the court, they have nobody to move the ball around. So they look pretty average when it's just AD on the floor. And then when LeBron's out there, they're good and they can compete. But you need a great LeBron game every game, and he's 35. So we'll see if he can do it. But that's what they need at this point.
Yeah, they're absolutely missing another playmaker, right? In that game, and I forget who it was against, but it was a game before this one where LeBron was out, and they just looked complacent. They looked lazy on the offensive end. I hate to say it, but it looks like they're missing Rondo, who had his ups and downs, but he's a playmaker. He's a veteran, and people always go back to the playoff Rondo of yesteryear. I don't know that he is that guy anymore. But I certainly think the Lakers are going to welcome him back, of course, because they're missing that aspect. They've got the one great playmaker in LeBron. They've got a superstar in AD. They've got some really good streaky players like Kuzma. Quinn Cook went off today. Dion Waiters, KCP. But they're missing that one Luka Doncic, right? And you're not going to always have Luka, but you need you need a Chris Paul. And I know that's a sour point for Laker fans. But you need somebody. LeBron is he can carry this team. I don't have any doubt. I don't think he can do it much longer. Maybe another year. It's a cause for concern, which kind of is a pretty good segue to kind of the last topic I had. And these are meant to be rapid fire questions for you and I. So we want yes or no answers. I think given the time we spent, we're at 12 minutes. We're doing good. Let's stretch this out a little bit because I think I want to add a little bit of commentary. But let's talk about the Lakers first. The Lakers are the number one seed. They sewed it up right away. We know there's some concerns. Number one question. And let's start with a yes or no, and then we'll just go ahead and elaborate a little bit from there. Are the Lakers making it to the Western Conference Finals? Not the finals. Are they making it to the Western Conference Finals? What do you think?
Western Conference Finals, that's a yes.
Really?
And then they lose to the Clippers.
Okay. Which is what we've been saying all along. I think you and I, I know Tony, who's joined us in times past, is the only one I think who has a different opinion, because he's always got a different opinion. Tony, we miss you. Hope you're well.
Tony.
But yeah, listen, for Houston always looks good before the playoffs, and they just never have that breakout ever. But there's just something about Russell Westbrook. They understand Westbrook and Harden. They don't have a lot of time left. And that small ball is really working for them. It's the new NBA. You just don't have centers. You don't have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You don't have Akeem Olajuwon. You don't have those guys anymore. They're all playing out in the three-point line. And Houston has built that in a very unique way, unlike anybody else. They're going to be tough to beat. Man, I don't know. So I'm trying to answer the question myself. Are the Lakers going to make the Western Conference Final? Yeah, I agree with you. I think they are. But whereas before, I thought it was at like 90% certainty. If I was to attach a percentage, man, I'm thinking it's 75, 60%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's not a sure thing. It's not a sure thing. I could see them being upset, even in the first round by Portland. I wouldn't be shocked. You think 75, 60 is too low, though?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Bron's rounded into shape, and when you have Bron and AD against, I don't think there's any other team besides the Clippers in the West that have enough to beat them 4 times in a series.
Yeah, and again, this is something we've talked about before. For the Lakers to be successful, they need AD to be AD, LeBron to be LeBron, and they need a third X factor guy to step up and put in 15 points. And again, they got great guys to do that: Kuz, Quinn Cook today, etc. But they need LeBron and AD, and they just haven't clicked in any one particular game. And if you don't have them both, you don't have all three of those things, it's going to be a tough road for the Lakers. Next question. Based on who you've seen and what you've seen so far in these bubble games, who's coming out of the East?
I'm still going with the Bucks. I'm still taking Giannis and Middleton. The defense, the shooters. Toronto's look good. Boston has looked really good. They've looked really bad, but I'm still taking the Bucks.
And I'm gonna deviate just a little because I've been Bucks all along, but I've always had Toronto as my dark horse. Toronto looks good. Toronto looks like a team, and I would absolutely not be shocked. Matter of fact, I'm asking the question, so I'm gonna answer it. Who wins the East? The Toronto Raptors.
Okay. Okay. I like it.
Right?
I like it.
I like it. And I don't think anybody be shocked. Who wins the West? You have been pretty solid about this. I don't think your mind's changed. Who wins the West?
Clippers.
Yeah, Well, let me elaborate just a little bit. Trez is not back yet. I read somewhere, but I never got confirmation that he was due back in the bubble next week, which is just a couple days away, right? But again, no confirmation of that. He is going to, I would think, need a game or two. You look at these players and these teams. It took them 2-3 games before they look like themselves. Assuming you don't have Trez for the first round, I mean, does it worry you at all?
I mean, it would be nice to have him. I still think it looks like they're going to play the Mavs. It'll be fun to watch them play Luka, but I don't think the Mavs are complete enough to beat. The Clippers are still really, really nice without Trez. And I mean, Trez is an energy guy. He's not going to come back and he's going to come back and just rim run, rebound. Yeah. He can do that. He can do that in his sleep, I think. So I'm not too worried. It'll be nice. I mean, it'll be nice to have him back, though.
It's a good point. Trez doesn't take mid-range shots. He does, right? But that's not his game. His game is the hustle plays, the rebounds, the putbacks, the dunks, and you don't necessarily need, you obviously need to be conditioned if you're playing in the NBA game, period. But it's a lot easier to play that game and have an impact right away. So it's a good point. All right, let's and let me call out a few things here too. And forgive me, I just get to talking and I stop looking. But who was it here? Jason started following. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that very much, man. Thank you both. We do appreciate it. All right, this is an interesting question, and I had to think long and hard about it. I asked, what bubble game feature do you like the best? And then I put out a couple options: the virtual fans, the piped-in crowd music, the PA announcer, which is interesting to me because there's no public announcer, but there's the PA announcer is still doing his thing, or no cameraman under the hoop, right? The whole line of cameramen under the hoops, or something else. You've seen a bunch of bubble games now. What do you like? What do you think the NBA might even adopt once this is all over?
I'm gonna kind of cheat. I like the whole experience. The first couple games it was weird, but now it feels kind of normal. Like the crowd noise seems natural. Yeah. The virtual fans are funny. You see Shaq popping up. Yeah. See like a goat baby popping up. Those are funny. But my biggest thing about the bubble is Stan Van Gundy. I love Stan on the calls. I think I'm not a big Jeff guy. I think he whines a lot. He's all right, but I think Stan knows what he's talking about. Stan's funny, and he's becoming my favorite announcer, my favorite commentator.
Hey, and Stan is a great Twitter follow too. I mean,
he's on Twitter a lot. He's tweeting a lot.
Yeah, no, great follow. Interesting. All right, has he? Right on, Kyle. Appreciate that tip very much.
Appreciate you, Kyle.
Thank you. When I was thinking, you're definitely going off book here, man. That's an interesting one. To me, as I'm watching it, and I got to tell you, I agree with you. The first couple of games I thought were off. I thought the piped-in music just was weird. There was one game, I think it was the very first game, where LeBron had a dunk and the piped-in music groaned. There's no groan on a LeBron dunk. You don't groan LeBron dunking. So it was off, but I think it got better. But for me, yeah, it's all gotten better for sure. I've not seen the GOAT virtual fan. I think that's pretty epic. I'd love to see that. Sorry, I missed it. But I love the fact that there's nobody underneath the bucket anymore. I remember there was a time, this is going back a long time, it had to be in the 90s, where Rodman fell into, with the Bulls,
And he kicked him,
fell
yeah.
into the camera well, and he kicked a cameraman. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see how that doesn't happen more often, how there's not many more people getting hurt. I think it opens up the game a lot more, and you're going to see a lot more people, diving out in that particular direction where they wouldn't normally. I just think it's safer. And what's it cost us? We don't get the great photos. I can do without them. I'd like to see that. As after the season starts up, I don't think we need those cameramen.
So let's put it, Jose is anti-photos. Put it out there.
I'm not photo. I'm anti-photo. All right, last question then. This was supposed to be rapid fire, but I'm digging this. This is a lot better. Are you surprised? And we talked a lot about this as we built up to the bubble games. Are you surprised the bubble has worked as well as it has? No players tested positive. Obviously, the games are phenomenal. Are you surprised? Because it's worked really, really well.
I would say, yeah, pleasantly surprised at the overall experience, the game experience, the safety measures. It seems like, not to jinx it, but everything is going very smooth, and that is the most you can ask for. Especially what's going on with baseball. You see how much the NBA put into it and the standard that they have, and it's working, and I'm loving it. So
yeah, no, it's working. It's great. I'm shocked. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think it was going to work this well. I thought the games were going to suffer. I thought there's no way they're going to be able to contain this virus. They've contained the virus. The games have been great. And again, I don't want to jinx it. I'm with you. But it's been great. And I'm very, very, very surprised. It's been fun to watch. And that's all we can ask for. All right. That's it. I'm going to go off book a little bit because you've done it to me twice now. So I'm going to do a little bit to you.
That's fair.
Been one concern, and it's a minor one, but I'll tell you, when the games start to matter, I think this is going to be a big deal. I watched a lot, and I didn't start to track them. I wish I would have, but I watched a lot of basketball today, like all of us fans did, and I saw an inordinate amount of timing problems. The most glaring to me was in the Laker game today. LeBron had the ball, Lakers were down, and they did what they always do when you're down, right? They roll the ball. And the ball's rolling. Clock's not supposed to start until the player touches it, right? So, and the player's backing off. LeBron's almost at half. So you can see, I think he had about 4 seconds left. I can't remember. It wasn't a lot. But he was waiting to pick up the ball. But the timer started the clock, right? And so that messed everything up. So the ball, it was called. The game was stopped. And the Lakers had to throw the ball in again. But now, right, the defense wised up, and the Lakers lost their chance. Bottom line, that's one. Even in the game tonight that you and I paused our stream to watch, there was a game. I think it was a jump ball where they reset the clock, or they didn't reset the clock. They reset it to 14/22 or 24. But here's my point: when you go to an NBA basketball game, there's a person there who's paid to be the timer, right? They don't get paid a lot, but that's their job, right? And not only are they paid, are these guys professionals, but the environment that they're in. This guy sits in a desk with a button. It's the same button. It's the same desk. It's the same environment. It's made for this. And now you're playing in a conference room, it's made up to be like, don't get me wrong. I think the experience has been phenomenal. And I don't know who is doing the timing. Is it, a Laker personnel like it would be normally? Is it a Buck person? I don't know. Is it a generic person? How is it working exactly? I can tell you, though, probably with absolute certainty, it isn't the exact same setup that they've had in their home courts. It's just not. It can't be. And so you're seeing a lot of problems. In these games, it don't matter. But if that game against LeBron costs the Lakers a chance to take a good shot as opposed to a bad shot with 4 seconds left in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against the Clippers, that's not going to be okay. So I'm a little worried about that. Did you notice any of that? am I going crazy?
No, I mean, I definitely know it. Yeah, I was in the group, my basketball group chat. I was talking with my boys. There's like a lot of clock management stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, they're working it out just like the players are with the new environment. Hopefully, these 8 games act as like a buffer. I mean, if we see something, we see something. It's been messed up before. Refs have missed calls before. It's just kind of, it is what it is kind of thing. Hopefully, they smooth it out in time for the games that actually matter. But I think they're still getting their bearings. It's still weird. It's still like a Herculean effort. Everything's going on in the bubble anyway, so I'm not too worried about that, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. I'll calm down. I'm anti-clock management. No, I'm pro clock management, but I'm anti-camera.
Anti-camera, man. You and Rodman, I feel you though.
Right,
That's
right
good. That's good company. That's good company to be in.
I could do worse.
Exactly.
All right, that's our show. I guess we can call this a show. Appreciate y'all taking the time. We jumped on a little late, but we did it for the right reasons because we're fans of the game, just like you. Thank you to all who stayed and listened to us. We appreciate you. We're Peach Basket. We are Voice of the Fan, and we will be back next week with another Run It Back NBA Week in Review. We'll see y'all.
Peace out, guys. Peace out, Jose.